AI in music is exploding. A study by the music distribution company Ditto found that nearly 60% of surveyed artists said that they use AI in their music projects, while about 28% said that they would not use AI for music purposes. Now here's the thing. As AI becomes more accessible and becomes a lot easier to use, I suspect that this trend is only going to increase. Now picture this. Time magazine said that a new YouTube tool powered by Google DeepMind's large language model Lyria allows users to type in something like a ballad about how opposites attract, upbeat acoustic, and a song snippet belted by a Charlie Puth sound-alike is instantly generated. Crazy, right? I mean, I wouldn't mind trying this out myself, just for fun. Maybe I can ask it to dish out a Badshah song with Lata Mangeshkar rapping. What a track that would be. Arey abhi to party shuru hui hai indeed. And if I can do this with zero knowledge of music production, imagine the magic and havoc that AI can create with experienced hands. Now don't get me wrong. AI tools have been used in music production for things like arranging, mixing, and mastering music for a while now. But today, they're actually being used to create music, and in many cases, recreate music and musicians. You could say it has the power to bring back to life, in a sense, the voices of your favorite singers crooning to the beats of today, lending their voices to the tunes of today. What started as badly made, highly amusing memes on Instagram has come into the mainstream really rapidly. From the viral Heart on My Sleeve by an AI-generated Drake, to Hey There Delilah by a very unlikely Kanye West, to Imagine by Michael Jackson, you don't know whether to be awestruck or just scared by the accuracy with which these artists' voices are created. In India, the trend got its highest level of validation in a sense when AR Rahman in the Rajinikanth starrer Lal Salam used the AI-generated voices of late singers Shahul Hamid and Bamba Bakya. But like all things AI, there are a lot of red flags in this. For instance, soon after Rahman's experiment, the makers of Telugu film Keedakola followed suit and got an AI-generated SP Balasubrahmanyam or SPB to sing. So while AR Rahman took all the requisite permission before putting out his song, the Keedakola makers allegedly didn't. As a result, SP Kalyan Charan, who is a singer and the son of SPB, issued a legal notice to the producers as well as the film's music director Vivek Sagar in February for inappropriately recreating the legendary singer's voice through AI and deepfake technology. In today's episode, we take a deep dive into AI in music and try to answer the following questions. So how exactly do music producers use AI to generate these voices of established singers? What are some of the threats that come with AI in music? How should music directors navigate this space in the absence of concrete regulation? How does one calculate royalty? Who does the music really belong to? Is patenting their voice the only way out for established singers now? What are some of the guardrails that need to be put in place pronto? We speak to a lawyer who's taking the Keedakola makers to task, a singer-producer duo who dabble a lot in this space, an ace research analyst to give us an idea of how this space is set to evolve, as well as another lawyer who's the last word on intellectual property. This is the kind of orchestra you don't want to miss. It's Wednesday, March 20th. I'm your host, Dia Rekhi, and you are listening to AI in Music. Whose voice is it anyway? Only on the morning brief from the Economic Times. Here's Ashish Pherwani, EY's leader for the media and entertainment sector, talking to my fellow TMBN Anirban Chaudhary.
I recently heard Kumar Sanu's song recreated with Kishore Kumar's voice. And I thought it was wonderful. It really, I thought, was very, very similar to the original. I enjoyed the song more than I ever had enjoyed it originally. That's just me, but when I sat back after that, the thought was, oh my God, Kishore Kumar now has an indefinite life. And then I got to thinking beyond that to say, okay, so there's an artist today, say Rihanna or Sonu Nigam or whoever it is, right? And they have a finite life. And over that life, with the work that they do, they create a dedicated fan base. And then their music stops and their popularity fades over time once they stop singing. Now we can actually keep them alive in the minds of their fans for longer. And therefore, the cost of recreating a fan base actually just disappears because you know that, oh, there's a fan of Hemant Kumar or Mohammad Rafi who will come back and listen to songs that you create. It's a dream come true in that sense from a business point of view.
Ashish, in your recent report, you said that AI will have an impact of almost rupees 45,000 crore in the media industry. Can you give me any numbers on how much it will impact the music industry?
I would think, back of envelope in my mind, it could be as high as 30 to 40% of their revenues in a stable state.
Meaning?
Meaning if the revenues are 100, AI could probably add 30 or 40 to that increment.
Before we go over to the next set of guests, I would like you to listen to their work.
है जो इरादे बता दूं तुमको शर्मा ही जाओगी तुम धड़कने जो सुना दूं तुमको घबरा ही जाओगी तुम आजा बाहों में करे के बहाना होना है तुझ में पना.
Had I not played these clips as part of this episode, I bet you could never have guessed that these are not Kishore Kumar and Mohammad Rafi singing, but rather their AI-generated voices. Cool, scary, cringe, who's to say? But the young men behind these tracks, Anshuman Sharma and Aditya Kalwe, a producer-singer duo who recreate old songs with golden old voices, have gone completely viral on Instagram. Here's Anshuman and Aditya talking to my fellow TMBN, Anirban Chaudhary.
Anshuman and Aditya, why don't you begin by telling me how you came up with the idea of using AI to recreate these songs?
How I discovered this AI thing was basically I used to make international singers sing in Hindi, by myself, not by using AI. I used to just chop up Drake's vocals or Justin Bieber's vocals and put them word by word and make them sound like they're singing Hindi. I used to take their Spanish songs, and since you have some syllables and consonants that are still similar to Hindi, I used to chop everything up and stick them together and make it. And then I was just trying to find something that could do that thing by itself. And that's where the AI came in. I discovered this site called duck.ai. So that's where I got a vocal model of Drake. And then I tried converting a Hindi song into Drake's voice. I did that in 2021. So then came 2022 and there was some other sites that were popping up and AI was becoming a pretty big thing. And then I think for this Mohammad Rafi thing, I think Aditya was over at my place recently only. I think in November 2023 or October.
Yeah, October.
Yeah, he was just at my place that day, and we just came across this random vocal model of Rafi Saab.
Of multiple artists, even Sonu sir, I think, and then
we were just jamming, and I was going through some AI models, and then I found these Indian singers. So then we just decided to try something.
And we just randomly, we are just trying to sing this song in his style and this and that. Then we came up with the idea, what if we try it's like a reverse remake kind of a thing, making songs of today in the voices and in the style of tomorrow. Like, so there are two ways to use like AI. First, what you can do is like the quick way, just extract the vocals of the main song and then convert it to like anyone you wanted to, say Rafi Saab or Kishore Da. But what it does is Rafi Saab or Kishore Da would never have taken those places and not sung those words like that. So what we did, we were just sitting and I think मैंने voice notes अपना खोल लिया था and I just tried to sing Hole Hole was the first song. I tried to sing it just to imagine how he would have sung those lines and those things. And then we converted it to like using the AI and it sounded like pretty damn close. So what you do is like you have to nuance everything, that you have to think about how he would have sung that word, or like, you know, yahan pe wo vibrato lenge ya nahi lenge, all these things. And then when you do it, it sounds pretty close, because what it does is just changes my voice to Rafi Saab's voice, but everything that I've tried to do, it remains.
Got it. So AI models are usually trained, right, to understand more and more what you want from it. So will there be a time when this human intervention will not be required?
I think it's far away. Right now, it's only changing the structure. It doesn't understand how Rafi Saab sang or any of the notes or how the notes work. It just converts the texture. It just changes the timbre of the voice.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, it's just like a voice converter.
How do you see the influence of AI growing in music creation or music writing going forward?
Yeah, I think people are starting to use it, since I also got some calls from some film directors, one Bengali film director who wanted me to convert a Kishore voice and stuff like that. So that's already started happening. People are starting to use old voices in their songs. Even I think Rahman sir recently used someone's AI voice in their new songs. So I think it's starting to get in the scene.
Okay. You see what has happened, right? A music director is calling you to recreate Kishore's voice for a film. And he would obviously prefer that voice over, say, a newbie who will not be as good. So this is Aditya, who's already talented, plus AI, which makes it similar to Kishore. So, you know, there is a larger debate on whether AI would usurp or sort of impact the creative industry. And this is what's happening. I mean, I know this can coexist with new talent as well. But do you see it like that or no?
So right now, like in terms of AI, I feel like we are in the very early stages of it, and it's gonna get really better at like doing all kinds of stuff that a human can do. But in terms of music, I do feel like firstly female singer को dub कराना है, तो you had to call like a female singer to like scratch गवाने के लिए किसी गाने के लिए. So right now you don't need that. You just sing it and convert it to like a female singer or something. Scratches are basically ki when the main singer who's gonna sing the song comes, and they have to like follow that. So what you can do is just basically sing like in that tone or in that register of like a female, and then convert it to like a female voice, and yeah, that works now. So
isn't that scary?
It is very scary.
And yet you're part of it.
But you know what, it's gonna happen anyway, so might as well be a part of it and like try to learn it and try to adjust to it.
Also, I think if people start using Kishore Das or Rafi Saab's voices, I don't think like they will replace the current singers, since they have a different style, they have a different texture, way of singing. Even the genre is kind of like, you won't find Rafi Saab rapping or stuff like that. So I think we're good in that way.
Absolutely,
it's not much of a problem.
But you do know that there are copyright and royalty issues around this, right? So have you, for instance, got any calls from the singers' families? I'm sure there's a lot of appreciation for your work, but any calls or messages or communication otherwise?
Our point is not like to monetize their voices. Our point is like just to pay respect, because these guys are like our legends and we like idealize these people. We have listened to them bachpan se. So we just want to pay like our respects and keep the spirit of these singers and like, you know, their voices like kind of alive, like and current.
Yeah, but maybe if a music director asks you to do the same thing, maybe you'd want to be protected.
It would be their music. If They're asking us just to convert the vocals.
Correct.
So,
No, absolutely.
I mean, they have to get sorted with the permissions and stuff. And I mean, once we have some proper laws for this, then we can maybe monetize
Yeah,
it.
maybe
But
do
right
it.
now,
Yeah.
we're not thinking of any monetization.
While AI has provided a treasure trove of possibilities for anyone in the creative space, music industry included, it has also opened up a Pandora's box. A case in point being what has happened with SP Balasubrahmanyam.
Of course, compose the song. Then we got Sri Krishna and Malavika Garu to do like maximum imitation of SPB. So,
That was Kida Kola's music director Vivek Sagar talking about how he created the Kida Kola song with the late SPB's voice. Soon after this, SPB's son SP Kalyan Charan issued a legal notice to the producers of the film and Vivek. He said in his statement, and I quote, "While we really love how technology is used to its fullest potential to give his voice a posthumous life, the family is disheartened when the same technology is utilized without our knowledge, consent, or authorization for commercial exploitation." End quote. He said that the present and future singers who are valuable resources to the music industry and whose livelihood depends on their only asset, their voice, will be at peril. I spoke to Kavita Deenadayalan, the lawyer representing Charan, to understand how this case can truly be one that sets a precedent.
We've initiated proceedings. The respondent, who are majorly the music director of the movie Kida Kola in Telugu, its producer, and the music label company, all the three of them are our opponents, who utilized the AI technology to extract the already recorded SPB sir's voice in various songs and speeches. They use that technology to train AI to reproduce it in their song without prior permission from their legal ass. We've initiated proceedings because basically there is no specific law for AI infringement in copyright.
In fact, I had a chance to go through the documents that you sent as well when we were filing the story for ET. One of the things that I wanted to ask you was, when it comes to sort of AI generated voices of, living singers or, those who are late singers, what exactly is the current regime like? Where does one really draw the line in the legal sense then?
See, there is loopholes so far because there is no law per se for usage of AI in music industry. So now let's say there is a narrow difference between using it for entertainment purpose and using it for commercial purpose. There's nobody going to question the usage of fans who are using AI to hear their favorite songs and with their favorite singer's voice, or nice dialogues with their favorite celebrity stars. That is not a problem at all to anyone. And the law is not going to protect those things, or nobody's going to come and question if people are milking money out of it. But the point is, when it is commercialized, like it made into a movie, or it's in on OTT, or any digital rights or exploitation of any kind of satellite rights or any different types of rights, then the owner of it, whether the present or even posthumously, somebody has to get license for it and consent for it, and also pay whatever the remuneration is mutually consented for. Every state has its own set of rules for with their production councils, the Tamil Nadu Artist Production Council, Music Directors Council, Singers Council. So they have their own state regulations and bylaws within the association. So if there is a specific bylaw passed by that association, then through the association, they can question whoever is infringing the copyright, because there is no law. The Legislative Assembly has not passed a specific law or an amendment in the Copyright Act. So in that absence, when it comes to ethical way of exploiting commercially, or moral way of exploiting it commercially, then they have to reach out to that family. So there are three different types, right? One is the person who's expired, the other is the person who's alive, and the other is the person, like it can be a child. So the most or advisable part is that any artist or music director or anybody wants to use it has to go approach them, and that's what AR Rahman sir, did it when he used the voice of two very famous singers in Tamil Nadu in his movie called Lal Salam, where actor Rajinikanth had starred. So, and he just didn't even get just permission, but also he paid whatever is necessary, and he got their consent. He also credited their names in the song albums. But here, what happened is it was a direct stark infringement, and then there was no credit given for sir. It was only a very proud moment for the music director to share that how tactfully and how beautifully he used AI to get SPP sir's voice in his songs. So we are working towards it to protect the rights. The thing is, posthumous right is one thing. Person who are alive, their voice is also being used. And the very fact that their voice is being used is not being expressed by the music director or the music label. That's the most surprising and saddening part.
Right. So currently, what is the royalty system like?
See, there is no current setup. The point is, presently, royalty differs. Even, for example, IPRS. If anybody goes on stage and performs a song where that particular event is a ticketed event, and that song, depending on how famous it is, that's how the royalty. So they have a slab as to how the royalty works. They have, let's say A category, B category, C category songs. We do not have a specific universal law. And also royalty is again an agreement between two parties if it's already been, spoken about. So for movies, we have like a 10% royalty when it comes to a dubbing right. So royalty really differs. In our case, we're concentrating more on the damages than, just the royalty alone.
As per an article that came out on the 18th of March, the makers of Kira Cola claimed that the matter has been resolved. However, when ET reached out to Kavita, she clarified that the proceedings are very much on. While this new technology is exciting and leaves so much room for opportunity and imagination, there are always downsides. Last year, Edward Newton Rex, the vice president of audio at the AI company Stability AI, resigned from the company, saying that he feared that he might have been contributing towards putting musicians out of jobs. And in October last year, Universal Music Group and other major labels sued the startup Anthropic after its AI model Claude 2 began putting out copyrighted lyrics verbatim. At the time, a Sony Music executive told Congress that the company had issued almost 10,000 takedown requests for unauthorized vocal deepfakes. But AI companies argue that their usage of copyrighted songs falls under what is called fair use and is more akin to homages, parodies, or cover songs. Some are trying to be proactive in building their own guardrails. Arijit Singh, for instance, intends to patent his voice, which could be the first in the world.
हम लोग AI vocals पे भी यूज हम लोग बना रहे हैं बहुत सारे, जैसे मेरे वॉइस पे ही काम कर रहा है, क्योंकि हम लोगों को ये पेटेंट बनाना भी जरूरी है. वी नीड टू बी प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर इट कि अगर मेरा वॉइस ऐसा हो सकता है कि कोई भी यूज करे. आई एम रेडी टू लाइसेंस इट, मुझे कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. आई विल बी हैप्पी.
Here's Ashish again with an important question as he speaks to Anirban.
Who owns the artist's voice? Right? And there are various points of view from a regulatory perspective. There's different points of view for authors, and when their books become royalty-free a certain number of years after their death. But there's no position taken as of now on the voice of the artists. All right? And therefore, I think this is going to be an extremely important area over the next few years. Some people would say, oh, I have invested so heavily in this catalog of a certain artist, and now someone else can start using that voice. That's not fair. And those are valid concerns because those were priced in an era where this risk did not exist. Right? And on the other side, you have the possibility, but hey, I own this catalog. What more can I do with it? And how do I keep this catalog continuously relevant and fresh by creating more songs of this nature? And it's not just the voice, it's also the style of singing, it's the inflection in the voice, it's the kind of lyrics, it's the kind of music. It goes on. It's not a very simple topic.
To delve deeper into this and to leave us with the last legal word on all of it, we have with us Gautam KM, a partner at K Law and an expert at tech IPs and copyright laws. Here's what he told Anirban.
So, if it's a regeneration of an existing singer's voice, what you need to consider is before you think of copyrights, you need to also think of personality rights and moral rights, which are neighboring rights under the copyright laws, right? Now, when an AI platform is regenerating a song into through a singer's voice or through a artist's voice, there are two aspects. So now, first, where was that platform trained? Did it, like, for example, if we let's take AR Rahman or SPB's voice, was the platform trained on existing music of AR Rahman or existing music of SPB? If that is the case, the platform owner or whosoever has created that platform, have they taken the necessary rights to train the platform with AR Rahman's voice or SPB's voice? SPB is not living today, so his estate, whoever his heirs are, have they taken the necessary rights from them to train the platform using their voice? That's the first point, right? That's the initial point. Then you have the prompt, like a user like you or me want to record a song in AR Rahman's voice. Now I go to a platform and I say, okay, create a song for me. Now, did I give the platform the lyrics? Right? And this is why I say the underlying aspects are equally crucial as much as the sound recording itself. So did I give the lyrics to the platform and then ask the platform to create a sound recording in the voice of AR Rahman or SPB? If so, while the platform might say whatever output comes belongs to you, like how, in the case, of course, ChatGPT is not music, but if you see the Microsoft terms, they very clearly say whatever output comes, the IP belongs to you. But it's not as simple as that. So if I have, given the lyrics to the platform and I've said, create a sound recording for me in the voice of AR Rahman, I could very well be infringing upon the personality rights or the moral rights of the singer, original singer, while it might clearly tell me that the output that comes is my IP. So it's not as simple as saying if I regenerate a song in a singer's voice, there is straightforward IP on it, or for that matter, there's straightforward copyright infringement.
Okay. Going forward, Gautam, as this becomes bigger, and I think it will become bigger, the use of AI. I mean, we've seen the use of AI rampantly in terms of production tools, etc. But now it's actually being used to create music and to recreate music and musicians. So as we go forward and this becomes more and more popular and seeps into the works of more and more artists, what are the 2 or 3 pitfalls that all parties need to be cognizant of, and what do you think is a correct framework that needs to come out, and what does that framework need to take into account in the near future?
So I think for music directors, music creators who have existing repertoire of content, the largest challenge that is going to they're going to face is going to be copyright infringement and protecting their works, right? That I think is the largest challenge in today's day and age, where AI is being used quite in an advanced manner for creating music or copying music for that matter. So copyright infringement is one of the largest aspects. The other aspect, I think, is licensing issues, where who licenses? Would it be the music publisher? Would it be the labels? So that confusion is definitely going to be there. Duplicity of content. So if you're going to regenerate music in the voice of other artists, while your lyrics and compositions might be original, however, it can lead to confusion in the minds of listeners as to who is actually singing it. If you're in doubt, please go and take the necessary rights. Do your homework. Find out who is the original creator of an original piece of work. And if you're going to be copying or using any part of that work where it's not substantially different, and this is the basic principle, right, which even today, AI or otherwise, is followed, that if it's not your work, please make sure you go and take the necessary rights to use.
As someone who tries to sing but ends up praying, I have a very special place in my heart for people who are musically gifted. And unlike in the West, where say an Elvis Presley or a Whitney Houston became the face of their songs, India's playback singing is different. The actors become the face of that iconic voice. So SPB to me for the longest time was just Rajinikanth, Kamal Hassan, or even Salman Khan. Normally, I would say his voice, like many singers and their distinct voice textures and ways of singing, was inimitable. But now, I don't think I can say that. AI has made what I didn't think was possible into a very real possibility. It has made what happened in Padosan completely possible, where you don't need Kishore Kumar hiding behind you to sing Mere Samne Wali Khirki Mein, but just a computer and the ability to understand how to use AI to be able to get Kishore Kumar to sing whatever you want as beautifully in his unique style with his harkats and on demand. But like Kavita said, when it's done for fun and possibly not for commercial purposes, I suppose it isn't an issue. Unless you're using, say, Shan's voice to say, vote for a particular party, in which case it comes under the realm of deepfakes, let's be clear on that. But when there are music producers, record labels, and directors, the onus is on them to follow the legit way of doing things, which is by seeking permission from the singer or the late singer's family, giving due credit, and paying the right royalty. Use AI-generated voices in your music all you want, but if you're monetizing from it, make sure you follow the due process. In the meanwhile, hopefully it won't be such a grey area regulation-wise, and possibly post-election, we'll have more defined and clear guidelines as to how to handle AI in music. Also, maybe patenting voices isn't such a bad idea, because for singers, there really isn't much else that's more important than their voice. But for music lovers, AI brings the possibility of reimagining your favorite songs with your favorite singers. And that's quite lovely, I have to say. This is a developing space and we intend on keeping a close watch on all that's happening, so stay tuned. Thank you Kavita, Aditya, Anshuman, Ashish and Gautam. And many thanks to my co-host on this episode, who is a lovely singer himself, Anirban Chaudhary. It's Wednesday, March 20th. I'm your host, Diya Rekhi, and you were listening to AI and Music. Whose voice is it anyway? Only on the Morning Brief from the Economic Times. This episode was brought to you by sound designers Indraneel Bhattacharjee and Rajas Nayak and producer Surohini Jain. Executive producers Anupriya Nair, Anirban Chaudhary and Arijit Barman. Thank you for listening, and if you liked this episode, do spread the word. All new episodes of the Morning Brief podcast drop every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. It streams on Amazon Prime Music, JioSaavn, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, and of course, ET's own audio platform, ET Play. All clips used in this episode belong to their respective owners, credits mentioned in the description.